I'm going to beg for food. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Or you can say, I'm going to take responsibility for my life. I'm going to start working hard. I'm going to start getting more education so that I can get a better job. Now, those people that were your friends before, that you were running with, and you start to climb up the ladder of success, what are they going to think? Are they going to be happy with you? No. So when you begin to come to a new level, expect that you're going to lose some friends. Just plan on it. It's just going to happen. You're going to grow past them. So now you're riding this bicycle, your friend is riding his bicycle, but you have acquired more energy. What's going to happen? You're going to go faster, and he's going to go slower. It's his decision, and it's your decision. That doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a good person. It just means that you have more energy, and you're going to run the race a little faster than they are. But what's going to happen is you're going to connect with other people. Further up the road, you're going to connect with other people who have more energy. You see what I mean? And so your energy level's going to come up. And so this balance that we're trying to gain between responsibility and authority is the more responsibility you take, the more authority you get. So this girl that was at proof this morning that took care of the problem, she never even had to call Eunice. She took care of the problem. She gains more authority. Because now when other workers have problems, they go to Audrey, they say, okay, we've got this small problem, what can we do? And she has the authority because she's taken responsibility. This is what you can do to solve the problem. Oh, okay, thank you. Now, that one is learning. You see how we're climbing this ladder? Yes. Pretty soon, Audrey is at the head of a company somewhere, and these other people are in her job as supervisor. Okay? So, when people take authority over you, but they don't take responsibility for the outcome. Okay, so let's, what's your name? Thomas. Suppose that I have a transport company, and I've got 7 lorries. Thomas takes responsibility for his life. He goes and gets his driver's license, and he wants to come on board and work for me. And so I say, okay, Thomas, let me hire you. We agree on the terms. He's very excited about his job. He's going to have money now to do what he needs to do. But then, when he goes to get his first load, I say, Thomas, by the way, I want you to overload. And Thomas says, no, I'm an honest person. I can't overload. Yeah, all my drivers overload. I have to make money. You have to overload. So finally, he gives in. He said, okay, this is a new job. This is what I can do. I can overload. He overloads, but he has fear because he's doing the wrong thing. All right. Now he's driving down the road. He's not, his mind is not at peace. He's watching for the police. He's saying, what happens if I get stopped? Sure enough, he gets stopped. 6 months down the road, he gets stopped. He gets a huge fine. More money than he can make in a year's time. So he calls me and he says, Stuart, I got this huge fine, I can't pay it. You have to pay it because you told me to overload. And I said, no. You're driving, you pay the fine. All right, that means I had all the authority to tell him what to do with no responsibility for the outcome. That's the definition of a tyrant. So don't make the decision to work for a tyrant because it will hurt. I'm the tyrant when you have all the responsibility and no authority. That's the definition of a slave. Yeah. All right. Now, is there balance there? No. I'm not balanced and he's not balanced. Can we be successful? No. Can we have a long-term relationship? No. So when you go to get your job, make sure that it's compatible with your principles. You say, I'm an honest person, I'm a trustworthy person. If I have to lie for you, I'm not interested in this job. Because if you lie, and slowly, you begin to lie more and more and more. And what happens when you tell a lie? You go into the negative energy scale. You begin to live in fear. You can choose that if you want to, but here's your predominant emotional state is the emotion of anxiety. It's the emotion of regret. It's the emotion of despair. When you choose to tell a lie or live a lie, pretend to be somebody who's not, you have to accept your emotional state. Now, when you choose to live the truth, you have optimism, you have understanding, you have wisdom, you have a helpful attitude, you begin to live in harmony with people, and it's by the choices that we've made. And so you can choose either one because you're not accountable to me. You're accountable to your Creator. When I leave this place, you don't have to say, well, I have to do this because Mzungu said this. No. When you understand that you didn't create yourself, that you're created by a Creator, you're accountable at the end of the day to your Creator, then you start making wise decisions. Who's going to help you? Your Creator. Obvious. He's going to put things in front of you that other people don't have. Because let me tell you what happens. When you have a piece of steel, Tom, my neighbor there at Proof, he's a welder. He can pick up a piece of steel. All he can do is weld it to another piece of steel. It has no power. But when you wrap this piece of steel with wire and electrify it, give it a current, it changes the properties of the steel. It's no longer a piece of steel. It's an electromagnet. So now you come over here, you touch the ring, you apply the current, and it becomes a magnet, and it can pick the ring up. Can a normal piece of steel do that? No, of course not. So when you get up into the higher energy scale, and your spirit is connected to the Spirit of God, and He energizes you, you can do things that nobody else can do. And that's how people looking on, they say, how in the world can this guy do this? How can this person do this? It might be because he's energized by the Spirit of God. So let's go to number 5. Understanding that you are personally accountable for your own life will solve the equilibrium problem. Equilibrium is balance. When you have balance with your bicycle, you can go far and you can go fast. Okay? Especially if you have energy. So if you've raised your energy level by being honest, being trustworthy, being a good communicator, and you've taken responsibility for your life, now you begin to gain authority of your life. So these people who are like the birds that's on the highline wire, and they just sit there and they say, God's going to take care of me. God's going to take care of me. Can you bring me tea? I need tea. Is it going to happen? No. Do they have any authority over their own life? No. But when you take a job and you begin to earn money, and then you go to the restaurant and you can say, today I don't want chapati. I want ugali. You have authority over what you get to eat. Today I don't want to live in this house anymore. I want to live in this better house. I have a better job. I'm taking responsibility for my finances. I can move to a better house. I can live in better clothes. But the people who don't take responsibility for their life, do they have authority over their decisions? No. So there's the balance. The balance is the more responsibility I take over my life, the more authority I have over my life. 4 areas: spiritual, physical, emotional, financial. Now, supposing something bad happens to you. Supposing you're very careful, you're getting ready to cross the road, you look both ways, nobody's coming, and so you start to cross the road, your phone rings, you slow down a little bit as you get your phone out, and there's somebody coming very fast, and they hit you. It might not be your fault, but you're laying there now with broken legs. All right, you can either decide to lay there. Life has run me over. Sometimes life runs us over. Or you can say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to become well again so that I can be a productive citizen. And so then there's times in life when life runs you over and you're not to fault. Maybe you were born into a bad situation. Maybe your dad wasn't a responsible person. He's not taking care of you. Your mom was a single mom and she's doing her best, but it's not the best. But that's not your fault, but you recognize I'm in a bad situation, I'm going to take responsibility for myself. I'm not going to be like my dad. My dad didn't take care of us children. When I become a dad, if I'm big enough to make a baby, I'm going to take care of the baby. All right. If my legs are broken because I got run over by a truck, I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to go through the surgeries. I'm going to go through the physical therapy so that I have authority in my life again. I'm no longer handicapped. Now, although there are handicapped people who can't help that. And I have a good friend in the U.S. He fell off of a roof. He was a very active guy. He broke some vertebrae here, and now he's paralyzed from about here down. But it hasn't stopped him. He went to college. He has a very successful business. He's got a specially designed pickup that he can drive with his hands. He runs all the levers with his hands. He can travel. He can do a lot of things that he wants to do. Sure, it's harder. But he has a family. Of course, they had one daughter before his accident. After that, he couldn't have any more children. They've adopted 3 more children. They're taking very good care of those children. They're putting them through school. They're giving them a better life than they could have had otherwise. And so even though he has this huge challenge, he's taken responsibility for himself, and he's a very productive citizen. Now, if you're a productive citizen, do you have fulfillment? Absolutely. Does somebody who's begging, do they have a fulfillment in life? No. No, they're just looking for the next cup of tea. So, number 6, start where you are and do what you can. All of you have a starting place. You can't do anything about your past, but you can do something about your future. You can begin to be responsible. You can begin to connect with your Creator. I've been talking about connecting with your Creator, but I haven't told you how yet. You know, with all these religious leaders that end up swindling people out of money, Christianity is taking a real hit right now. People are saying, why would I even go to church? So many of these guys are frauds. Okay? So you might even question, is there a God? I know there's a lot of people who say, is there a God? Because look at all these people who are promoting Christianity, but then in the end they're a fraud. Okay, so what you can do, though, is you can just ask God each day, if you're there, God, reveal yourself to me in a way that I can understand. If you do that with an honest heart, he will begin to reveal himself. Now, I can't tell you how he'll reveal himself to you because it's going to be specific for your understanding. I can tell you how he revealed himself to me. And he revealed himself to me in a very special way when I was 53 years old. I grew up in a cult. And so I lived in confusion, anxiety, misery for the first 53 years of my life. But one day I was asking, where are you, God? Where are you in all this? I was in a terrible situation. God spoke to me very clearly. And now that wilderness that I came through that was so bad, that I hated so much, has prepared me to be here today. I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't gone through that. So sometimes you can be in a wilderness experience for a while, but don't give up. Keep asking God, where are you? Where are you? Don't give up on God. Don't give up on the vision that God has for you. He might be putting you through a training right now that's going to bring you to a better place. So start where you are. If any of you can think of something that you can do to improve your life, that's where you need to start. And then you get that bicycle going, holy-poly. And then as you get going, you start to get other direction. This is something, hey, you know what? I could do this to improve my life. And so one thing that I can guarantee you that you can do is add value to other people, because that's planting seeds. The very first time I came to Kenya, I felt a little intimidated. I'm the only Mzungu in there with all these people. I said, how am I going to stay safe? I didn't know, I didn't realize that Kenyans are very peaceful people. And you hear all these stories, and you have fears, just like you guys have had fears about me. And I said, how am I going to stay safe? And God said, add value. And when he said add value, my whole mind opened up. And he said, when you add value, you become valuable. When you become valuable, people take care of you. So if this guy is adding value to me, am I going to get rid of him? No. I'm going to take care of him. So as you go about your community, you can begin to add value to people. You begin to smile at them. You can begin to greet them with a friendly greeting. You begin to offer, can I help you, poli with this, kidogo with this, small, I can do this. And what you're doing is planting seeds. And people can say, you know what? I know that guy. He's going to help us because he's been showing that. And so whatever seeds you plant is the harvest you're going to get. If you plant weed seeds, if you go out and despise people and you reject people and you quarrel with people, you're going to receive the same thing. But if you go out and plant kind seeds, seeds of love, acceptance, helpfulness, adding value to people, it's going to come back. And don't give up planting seeds. Sometimes it takes a while. And once you plant those seeds, sometimes if you start to see the plant coming, you have to take care of it. You got to pull the weeds. You got to make sure it's got water. You got to take care of these small things. Number 7, Genesis 1:27. It says, so God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God created he them, male and female. So, we're responsible to ourselves and we're responsible to God. We're responsible to God because he's our creator. We're responsible to ourselves because he created us in his image. And so when somebody asks you to do the wrong thing, you say, should I do this or not? No, wait a minute. I'm created in God's image. I can't do this to my body. So it gives you direction so that your responsibility, you're taking responsibility for yourself and you're gaining authority. You say, no. I don't get involved in that kind of corruption. And when people see that, they're looking on. There's always people looking on. You know, I've been coming to Kenya now for 5 years, and I'm learning the culture, and I'm learning it's totally different. We don't have village elders in the U.S. We don't have chiefs. We don't have chairmen. And what I'm finding out is if I don't walk with these people, I'm not going to go very far. If I show disrespect to the village elder, am I going to have a successful business? No, it's not going to happen. But the village elder knows he's accountable to the chief. The chief knows he's accountable to the president. The president knows he's accountable to God. So when we all understand that, it's called the chain of command. Okay, as you come down the chain of command, then the village elder is teaching the parents, take care of your children. Teach them responsibility so they can gain authority. If the parents refuse to do that, then the village elder says, I don't think we need you in this community. Because I want a community of successful people that's coming up. You see how that all works? So when you go to work for somebody, you listen to them. You watch how successful people move. You learn those skills. You take responsibility. Number 9. Number 8. Romans 14:11. For the scriptures say, as surely as I live, says the Lord, every knee will bend to me, and every tongue will declare allegiance to God. When you get to the pearly gates, are you going to answer to the guy that tried to sell you the water? Is he either going to be the one that says, okay, you can go into heaven now because you bought water from me? No. You don't answer to him now. When there's someone who's trying to get you to do the wrong thing, if it's your boss, you listen to him, but if he's asking you to do something that God says, no, you can't do, at the end of the day, who's gonna be the final judge? God's gonna be. So there are times when we have to say no to people and yes to God. But when that happens, God blesses us because you've made the right decision. Who can give you more blessings, a man or God? God can. So we always connect with God. At the end of the day, when you have to make a hard decision, you say, I know I'm going with God because He's judging me at the end, and He can give me more blessings than this guy can. There's people out there who are always looking to people for their help. They say, can you sponsor me? Can you support me? They take their eyes completely off of God. God could give them a lot bigger blessings, but they are not even focusing on God. They're just focusing on somebody that they think can help them. So they've limited themselves by wanting to receive help from this person, when God says, if you just ask me, I can help you. But you don't ask. Eunice used to live in the slums. When I first met her 5 years ago, she had no idea where she was going to be today. Today she's managing the Proof Hotel. She's got respect because she's chosen God day after day after day. She's lost some friends, but she's gained better friends. And that's what's going to happen to you. When you choose God, you're going to lose bad friends in the lower end of the scale. You're going to gain friends in the upper end of the scale. Your energy level is going to go up, and you're going to feel more safe because these people will take care of you. You know, I feel very safe in Kipsongo because I've added value there. One of the Boda drivers, he said, if anybody messes with our Mzungu, we will fight. It makes me feel really good. I don't have to fear going through town now. The village elder told me, he says, you're a very wise guy. He says, I know that you're adding value to Kenya. He says, we're here to protect you. So when you add value to people, you become very valuable. And that's something that you all can do right today. You can add value to others. When that happens, and you begin to understand, number 9, our personal accountability to God. All these things, this equilibrium of responsibility and authority come into play. I'm accountable to God. I'm accountable to myself. Now I have a balance. When you have a balance, you can walk. You can ride a bike. When you have no balance, you just lay in the gutter. Number 10. When we are accountable to God and ourselves, it's a shield against the manipulation tactics. Now, when somebody tries to manipulate you, what emotion do they use to manipulate you? Does anybody know? They use fear. They say, if you don't do this, bad things are going to happen to you. They're not coming out of the emotion of love. These people up here are using inspiration. They can inspire anyone. These people down here are manipulating using fear. If I'm not manipulated by fear, they have no effect over me. I'm inspired by love. I'm inspired by faith. When God speaks to me, the Bible says the sheep know His voice. God says, no, don't go over there, go over here. I say, okay. I don't have to know why I'm not going over there. I might see it later. God's directed me in this area. He inspires me. But the other people come along and they try to manipulate you using fear. If somebody's trying to manipulate you using fear, move away from that. That's manipulation. Number 11, you choose slavery or freedom, and the truth will set you free. How many of you choose freedom today? That's wonderful. I've done what I set out to do. May God bless you.